You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Nerds Pod. I'm your boy Cole, the kid at heart. That's Pooba. That's Pete. And today we are going to talk about Daredevil Born Again, episode 8. The episode that Cox and D'Onofrio are favors of. And we are favoring this episode right here. This one right here was a really, really good one. As you can see, I got my ticket. I got invited to the ball, and we are ready to roll. Let's start off with my man Pete right now. Pete, what did you think about this episode?
So, I blame myself because I got my hopes up based on what you just said about D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox. That it was their favorite episode. One of these reporters who follows the show and the early access. He's seen the whole series already, or he's getting the episodes before we get them. He said it was his favorite, and I guess my expectations were really high, and not much. I mean, the best part about it for me was Bullseye came back.
You got your wish.
Yes, thank God, because I think he's just a good character. He's a good parallel to Daredevil. Like he's an equal to Daredevil. But at the end it did get really good with the interaction between Vanessa and Matt, and how it ended. Of course, they did tease us and built up the finale for like a hell of a finale next week. So can't wait for that. But again, I think, like I said, I blame myself. Got too hyped for it. Was expecting more, and just got a little bit of behind the scenes of Matt's life. You see what's going on with him and his lady, and then you see it's building up for a great finale. I'm hoping for next week, but I guess I kind of expected some of that to be this week. So, but still good. It was a good episode overall.
Bullseye is back. As you can see, there are glimpses of blue. The show starts off with blue, and I did not realize that there's a lot of blue when it comes to him, where Matt is red. And just like you said, Pete, those two just go together, and I'm so happy Bullseye is back. Pooba, tell me, what did you think about this episode, and do you think did it live up to the hype?
No, it didn't live to the hype because when I think that we understood that these next two episodes are pretty much post creation. So Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson, that directed the first episode, they were out the picture in the sense of what we saw so far, and they're now the directors. So I'll tell you right from the jump, this felt different. The way it was shot, and I agree with you, Cole. The blue aspect of Bullseye, the red aspect of the white that we saw for Fisk, kind of showing his reborn again, I guess, in this kind of political aspect of it. But I think I watched it twice already. The first time, I'm going to tell you that I was disappointed completely. I'm waiting for the action. This is the like Thursdays we say, what's it called? Friday Eve, and you kind of felt like this should be exciting, and it was. The ending became exciting for sure because I was left open to which way this is going to go. This could have gone in so many different directions. It took a direction I didn't see coming. So it's in watching it the second time, understanding the color schemes, understanding that they're bringing us back to the first episode when they take us back to Josie's bar. All of it together, I think it was a very good episode because I think the reason behind that they love this episode is because the first time we kind of have them all in the room at the same time. They're all in the room at the same time, and they were excited to be around each other because I know they filmed this in bits and pieces. But these last two are reshoots from what they originally had filmed, and we didn't get kind of see the color scheme throughout these other episodes. We now get back that color scheme that we actually love from the first episode. And watching it the second time, I appreciated the art of what they had to do to make this come full circle for us. Because that part at Josie's was an aha moment, not only for Matt, but also, I think, for a lot of the viewers.
The ending did save it for me, though. The ending did save it.
Awesome. For me, I loved it from beginning to end. Let's start off with with putting Bullseye in general population. What are you doing? This man is a threat to anything and everything. Let's talk about Bullseye for a little bit right here. When they put him in general population, the next thing you know, he asked Matt to come and help him. I thought it was genius that he pushed Matt to the limit so he can have his head bashed in and then remove his tooth. I mean, how accurate and how, even with his mouth, he can spit with accuracy. This guy is absolutely great. I thought also that Kingpin is in full form and full effect. Him having the white suit just showed right there, gave me the stamp that yes, this is Kingpin and the Kingpin that I know. So Pete, what did you think about that scene with Charlie Cox and Bullseye? And Bullseye asking him, "Hey, can you get me out of here?" You think Bullseye should have? Do you think Matt should have helped him to get out, or you think Matt handled it the way he should have?
No, he wasn't going to help him. That's, whatever happened to anybody in general population, because Bullseye's there, it wasn't his concern. He sees him as the reason Foggy's not there. It took me back to the Dark Knight when Batman and the Joker were in the interrogation room. But no, he's not going to help Bullseye at all. The only thing he'll probably help him do is help him kill himself. When he dropped the F bomb to him, you could see the disgust he has for him. So there's no way I thought he was gonna help him out.
The Joker says, "Don't start with the head. You leave the guy a little dizzy." Gotta love that scene from the Joker.
I gotta say, I don't think that Matt necessarily helped him. But I think Matt planned to get Bullseye out of Gen Pop. I think he knew what he was doing. I think Matt knew what he was doing by smashing his face in and kind of, again, Matt as a lawyer has to be very calculated on the things that he does. This would seem very out of pocket and uncalculated in my book. I think that there's a twist at the end that I think Matt Murdock maybe have done this on purpose so that he can get out.
I disagree with you. I think Matt was going off of emotion, similar to what Pete was saying because it was foggy, Now, I have to say, again, this was a really, really good episode from beginning to end. And this part right here, wow, finally, I get my answer to why Adam is there. Puba, talk to me. Tell me, what did you think about that scene when Kingpin had Vanessa and they both were trying to talk about how they can move on with their lives? And if you notice, there was a key on the desk. Never saw the gun, but gave Vanessa a choice. Tell me what you thought about just that scene right there.
I mean, talk about the test of a relationship, right? And we get to finally find out that Vanessa was in on the failed hit on Kingpin. She said he was a punk playing for the throne, which I love that saying. But I guess how we were first confused about Red Hook it all comes full circle, and we know now Red Hook is where I think Kingpin wants to show New York City what he can build. Plus, it's kind of been his hidden lair for quite some time, so nothing could happen on Kingpin's territory in a sense. And then to think that he now brings Vanessa into that, right? So that scene right there, we've seen it 1,000 times. I think, like on social media, where they put a baby and they put like a green saber and a red saber, like choose Jedi or Sith type of thing. That's what I kind of got here, right? Choose the key, or choose the gun and be part of this. And I think he was really hurt when he was telling Vanessa about how he can't bear the thought of this guy, being alive and the bother of whatever happened between them. It was a very heated moment where you thought she may let him go, but Vanessa showed her true self, and she's committed to this, not only in the sense of this mob life, but also whatever political scheme that Kingpin is going on. That's where I think that she said, I'm okay with. She chose the gun. There was a quick moment there, though, where she had the gun in her hand and he snatched the gun away from her, where it's like, wow, I could see that you could get this bloodlust in a sense, and you could kill me now. He snatched that gun away from her pretty quick after doing so, because I thought that he was like, damn, she did it like nothing, like a G, and I think that it just shows that what we're going to see, of course, in that ballroom scene is that they are finally on the same page, heading in the right direction as a power couple, to run New York City, as the first dance that they dance to mentions all the boroughs, of course. So I think between, again, this episode explain all the conversation about Red Hook, explain the thing when it comes to where we're at in the story with Bullseye, and if we thought, right, because that's where we began this conversation, right, and I think in our first episodes about Daredevil is what's going on between Vanessa and Kingpin. It is settled, guys. They're the power couple that you need to. They are Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, all balled up into one. So we finally got that answer, Co, of where they're at in their relationship. And kudos to Heather. Great therapist. It worked.
Once again, we did get that answered. Yeah, that was in a previous episode when she was explaining about Adam, and she said, yeah, it's his hands. And Kingpin says, just his hands alone is getting me upset. I like when she put one in his dome and the blood splattered, and it reminded me of the art that they have, the rabbit in the snow, where it's already tainted on one side. It looks like the same thing in the cell on the other side. So, fellas, let's go to the ball. Now, this is the big one. For me, this episode ties in everything together. Pete, Kingpin promotes the guy that has no training whatsoever, but it's all about loyalty. And
his favorite guy.
Well, I do want to talk about that because he does play a big part. And first of all, I would like to give credit to that actor. I think he's doing a great job. He has me tied in with him, and I like him. I see the connection between him and Kingpin, and I'm liking that more than I do with Heather. Heather, I lost connection with her. But anyway, we're at the ball. Now his date is with the reporter. And they are together and they're talking. Now you see that the reporter walks away. And then you come to find out, since this episode brings everything together, that she actually knew about the Kingpin. Did you have any idea? Did that shock you, or how did you feel about that?
Well, this show is 7 years from the Netflix series. I mean, like in the show, it says that's the time they said that it's has passed in the show. It's the 7 years. So you think about it, she was really young when her uncle was killed, and I didn't know that he was a suspect. Or I forgot. If it was in the Netflix series, I forgot. But she said she knew, and she was talking to the commissioner, who doesn't like Kingpin at all either. So I mean, it was cool. I mean, this guy getting promoted, like you said, it's about loyalty. He did get her to put out the word that it was the vigilante anti-vigilante team that got Muse and not Daredevil, even though everybody kind of knows it was Daredevil. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with him. He's not a main character here. He's not a major player, but he is one of the secondary characters in this show, and he got a big step up this week because he got that promotion, and even his advisor, the female advisor, was like, her name was Sheila, I think. He said she even was like taken aback by it, like what, like.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see how those dots are going to connect. But I'm more interested in BB now having this conversation with the commissioner. That to me raised an eyebrow. And I want to see more of that, as opposed to more of Daniel in his new role.
Daniel will be more involved, and I can see him just growing in this. But I'm with you on that. When she had an idea that Kingpin was a number one suspect in her uncle's death, you're starting to see that everyone is using everyone in this entire series. There's a part back when Matt realized that there was a client that was lying, and he usually uses the heartbeat to help with the innocence. But this time around, that I see that Matt is getting frustrated. And told the client that, look, we could get in trouble if you're lying, so we don't want to defend you. And how everything is starting to crash down, especially like when Buck pulled up into the apartment and Matt is like, hey, how'd you know he was here? And he's telling Heather, listen, he's using you. Everyone's using everyone in this series, and it's so grounded to me. I really, really enjoy how with this episode, I feel is really bringing the entire thing together. Just like when Pooba was talking about in Josie's bar, and then finally Matt was starting to put the pieces together and try to understand what's really going on. So back into the ballroom, we have Fisk at his highest, looking great, magnificent. He's starting to. I like Kingpin to begin with, but I'm really starting to like Kingpin more than ever. I thought it was so cool that he was taking people into the room and he was doing negotiations. Pooba, what you thought about that scene with the swordsman and Kingpin?
Jack Duquesne with the stash. He needs to get the
awesome stash, by the way.
He needs to get the Sinestro sweater.
Or he could play Sinestro.
Oh, he'd be a great Sinestro. He would be a great Sinestro. No, it was amazing, right? Because you think he's not going to get shaken, right? And then the same verbiage that was used in the prior conversation about a threat versus a warning was used in this conversation right back at Duquesne. I loved how Matt was able to kind of, again, and they did a great job of him filtering all the noises to listen in onto the conversation. And during that scene, I don't know what it was, but D'Onofrio looked like he was 50 feet taller than Duquesne. And it could have been that he was sitting down and standing up, but man, they made D'Onofrio look like the Kingpin from the comic book, which I thought was visually just as amazing as the banter between the two of them. Yes. But I also loved, the fact that they showed the police force kind of really surrounded, and these guys are not just police officers now, that they're now the sheriffs of the town. Like they're running the town, and he has them kind of his own goons in a sense. So again, visually you could understand how protected it was, and the way Daniel, I think it was was talking about, hey, people are scared and excited at the same time to go into that room with the mayor. So
That's power.
that was the part that was like, oof, I never thought of it that way. Like, if I'm not even talking to the mayor, I'm really not in any plans, and I'm probably an afterthought. But if he's bringing me into the room, a little shook, but I know there's a benefit to this in the long term. Especially that lady, that the one that was like about we control it, and you could tell she was shook. Her husband wasn't even in the ballroom either, so something had happened there. No, just I think in seeing the power in the demeanor and the words that the Kingpin had for these elite people in New York City, right? And to see how much he towers over them now versus how we saw in the in-between episodes of him trying to figure all this out. He just had to become Kingpin, but on a political sense, and it seems like it's working for him.
Man, let me tell you, Kingpin is coming to what he needs. I think him getting Vanessa back now puts everything in perspective, and now he can be who he needs to be. So he has the task force. Pete, talk to me about that scene with the reporter when Kingpin said, hey, take care of that. And do you believe that the Punisher's going to come and take care of that task force?
The Punisher is coming. Yeah, because they're getting out of hand. As you saw what he did with that guy's hand in the grease after he warned him not to do it, and he kind of threw it in his face. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah, like Puba said, they're almost goons at this point. They're not even cops. So yeah, he's gonna put an end to that. I don't think he's really too concerned about his image, but they're using his emblem and they're putting out the wrong message. So he absolutely comes back next week. Well, I'm hoping. But I do believe, yeah, he does clean up that mess and kind of regulates that because they're going about it the wrong way. Like he called them fanboys. He doesn't have respect for them. So that's going to end next week.
I can't wait to see that. I hope that that does happen because I was thinking the same thing while watching the episode that Punisher is going to punish these taskmen, and I would love to see Punisher and Daredevil team up to take all these guys down.
Talking about fanboys, were you guys a fan of the way Bullseye spit the tooth into that guy's eyeball?
Absolutely. And then he didn't kill him, which you could hear the doctor saying, ow, ow, ow. But then he grabs like a scalpel and just, he.
That must be like the strongest hawk tua in the history of hawk tuas.
But like you said, he didn't kill him. But he got it where he wants to go. That's why he got the name Bullseye.
So you guys were fans of that as well.
Was that?
Yeah.
I guess I'm not saying you guys were fans of that, the way he did that.
Absolutely.
Listen, I didn't know what that was because I've seen the picture a couple times and I'm like, yo, what is that in his mouth? And I was like, oh shit, that's his tooth. What?
he's working it like that too. And
when you said fanboys, I was like, wow, I was a fanboy of that scene alone.
That shows his skill, man. That shows his skill.
When he was getting the stitches, I was thinking to myself, put his hands behind him and lock him. Why you got him so? Why you don't give that man no access to his hands? But and
I'm sorry, I know I took us off a little route there, but that's
no, go for it, buddy.
Like, there was a scene that I was a fanboy of, and that one scene, and that's a comic book thing.
Yep. And
apparently he does that a lot. He does that. That's one of his things. Like he will break his tooth and hawk to it.
No, Bullseye is no joke. He could probably grab a card from his toes and just get you.
Wow.
He is no joke. So now we have now Matt can't take it no more. And he has to go talk. He has to talk to Fisk. So he's walking to Fisk. He puts his cane on the tray, says, take care of this. You lead. I thought that was funny because he's blind. So, you lead. So they're leading. I like the part when they're both talking to each other because Kingpin knows he can hear him. So Kingpin is just talking in the air, but he knows that Matt is listening. Bullseye, he was a cop before. He was a police officer, so he knows how to move around. He eventually got inside, and now he's ready to take the shot. But who is he going to shoot? I'll ask Pooba first. Did you think it was going to be Vanessa or Kingpin?
I thought it was gonna be Heather, and
Good.
and it's my fault because I keep trying to kill Heather for some reason.
Well, she needs to go.
I was gonna kill her, but only going again. So reading in the comic books, as you know, Bullseye kills Karen Page, and Karen Page at that time is Daredevil's love interest. So I'm thinking that they're kind of gonna stick with this story where Bullseye kills a love interest. That also didn't happen. Again, in watching it the second time, I understand why he went for Fisk, because Fisk is the one that tried to put him in Gen Pop. And at the tail end of it, he knows that Fisk probably has more pull than Vanessa. So he knows that if he doesn't take out Fisk, then he will always be at a risk, no matter what happens. Because right now, Fisk runs the law in New York City. So even if I get caught by the cops, I'm a dead man versus, trying to. If I kill the top guy, I'm out of the picture, right? Kill the head of the snake, as they say. Mm-hmm. I was confused. I was like, could it be? Could it be? Could it be? Could it be? And then when, and I guess I got to ask you guys a question. I have no idea why Matt jumped in front of that bullet outside of a hero complex.
I was getting to that.
Okay, but yeah, I thought it was gonna be Heather. I thought it was Heather because of the scene prior to that is Matt and Poindexter talking to each other, right? So he's been there. He sees that Matt is with Heather, and I'm thinking, okay, he's just gonna try to hurt Matt. I'm sorry, Heather.
So it was neither target that I even brought up. Yeah. And you hear Matt say it's her. So even then you was thinking it was Heather. But for me, I think Vanessa hired Bullseye to take out Kingpin. I think she actually is still trying to assassinate him. Even though I could be wrong, but I think she was the one that actually threw out the hit. Well, you did bring it up, my friend. Pete, what did you think about Matt saving Kingpin? Or do you believe Matt knew he was saving Kingpin?
That's the cliffhanger. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't. It's tough for me to try to guess correctly. As far as you saying, you think Vanessa hired Bullseye?
Yeah,
I believe we're gonna find this out next. We're gonna get all the answers this coming next week. Not surprised that he jumped. He's a hero. Let's not forget about that. Regardless of who it is, he's a hero. He and let's think about it. Did he save? We see it as him saving Kingpin. It's going to be seen as blind lawyer saves the mayor. So that could be not that he had that agenda, but I think he was just trying to save him. But he did jump in front of Fisk and took a bullet for him. Obviously, he's not going to die, but it's an interesting build up for what happens next week. That's a great way to look at it. That's another twist for next week. Maybe Vanessa was the one who put out the hit. Maybe she's playing the card. Maybe she's playing these games to get everything the way she wants, which is to put, look, he thinks everything's good. Let him let his guard down, and then I got Bullseye coming through to kill him. So yeah, just again, was disappointed in the episode because I expected more, but the ending saved it for me, and all these questions I believe we're getting answers to in the finale next week.
You don't think that him jumping in front of the bullet was a little bit about his conversation with Heather about the that like scared little boys or something that wear masks, and he kind of want to prove this they could jump in front of the bullet, and because At the tail end of it, I think he's going to have to tell Heather in this next episode.
That's
Because
a
yeah, so I think in his head, I think there's a little bit of that conversation with Heather about the people that wear masks, because she had put Muse and Daredevil in the same category,
Mm-hmm.
and the only way to prove to Heather that that is wrong is by doing what he just did.
I didn't think that much into it.
I don't
That
think so
I
either.
didn't see it that way. But I'm not saying you're wrong. I just didn't see that.
I see it like more or less like what Pete was saying. He's an hero. He will always be a hero
So hero
at the end of it
complex.
all.
That's the reason why you take the bullet.
Yeah,
Because of a hero complex.
exactly. Puba, do you think Matt should have blocked that bullet, or he should have just let it go by?
I think so. The way Matt did it, if you're watching this, and I watched this episode twice now. So he did it on purpose so that it's nothing more than a flesh wound. So while we're seeing Daredevil and we see him on the floor, we see the red. I think that again, I think this is all calculated for me in the sense of what Matt did with. There's just no way that Matt would allow himself to let Bullseye out the way he did. I think this is all calculated, and in a sense, it gives Matt now where it protects his identity. This move protects his identity.
How can it protect his identity when you have a blind man diving, right? That's
Well,
so
identity
wild to
versus
me.
Fisk. I think now Fisk has to hold his tongue just a little bit. If he says that Daredevil is Matt Murdock, and now Matt Murdock did what he just did, you're giving the power back to the vigilantes. Now he has to hold his tongue. He can't say that Matt Murdock is Daredevil when everybody saw Matt Murdock jump in front of a bullet for him. How ungrateful now does the mayor look? How everything is destroyed if Fisk gives up Matt Murdock's real identity. He loses everything he's been saying about vigilantes, and this vigilante just saved his life. Now he has to bite his tongue. He can't say what he wanted to say, I think, anymore. So that I think for me, in the sense of Matt doing this, I think it's all calculated.
Really like this episode a lot. I think it tied into a lot of questions that I had, and it started to add up. And I'm gonna agree with Cox and D'Onofrio on this one. I want to thank them for this episode. I kind of wanted to see more of this style throughout the series. We had to wait for a little bit, but I'm okay with it. Pete, you think Bullseye got away?
Yeah. There's too much. There's a lot. I mean, look, I'm sure everyone was focused on. Remember, there was a gunshot, so get the mayor to safety. The mayor's worried about getting Vanessa to safety, and then somebody got shot. So I'm sure he was like, he wasn't the main focus. I mean, he should be because he's got a gun, but I'm sure, or we'll see. Who
And they
knows?
didn't even shoot up there. I would think that they would shoot back. But
Well, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Who knows if the next episode doesn't continue right off this,
yeah,
and all the after the everything that happened after he took the bullet. Maybe he's trying to get out. Everybody's trying to get away. There's a lot of people running around. So who knows if it doesn't continue right from there? So maybe he shoots some more, but he's Bullseye, so he's not going to miss if he continues to shoot. So
I'm so happy that Bullseye is back. I hope they bring Punisher back, just like you said. And like Puba said, hopefully we can get a post or mid-credit scene of Muse coming back, because losing Muse and losing White Tiger, I don't think it was necessary to push to get to this part, to the agenda of where we're at. I kind of wish those characters were still around as well. I like that it's a lot going on, yet we're still focusing on these two. I'm happy for Kingpin. I voted for him. And thank you for the invitation to the party. I had a wonderful time, except you know, I had to get out of here because it was getting a little hectic. Um, any last words?
No, again, I've enjoyed the ride so far. I'm glad that they brought back the directors from the first episode to kind of finish this off for us, because I do like this filming more than any of the other in the middle ones between. So I'm glad that they're finishing this way. I'm hoping to see the Defenders in this in the finale. Uh, uh, I don't know how Punisher fits in all this, but I hope it all makes sense too, right? Because at the telling, this is another guy who's a shooter inside of a. It starts right from there. I think the finale should start right from there. It's a flesh wound. Matt, get up, put on the suit. Let's keep it going. And the fact that these guys are in this, and it's a. I just need one scene where it's just chaos, fighting, and I'll go back to that Defender scene. I think it's episode 3 where that hallway fighting scene, that we get something of that nature with Daredevil, Bullseye, Fisk, Punisher. I'm hoping that we get a hot mess that's just nonstop action for this finale. But I'm excited about. Sad to see it go, but I already know we're getting a season 2 out of this, so let's keep the show going for sure.
That's to show you that, of course, the main character cannot die, because then there will be no series. Hey, Pete, I'm happy that Bullseye's back, though, at least, you know, and the ending for you, I'm glad that you enjoyed that. Well, I hope all you guys got to enjoy the review of this episode. I personally liked it a lot. Can't wait to see how they close this out. That's Pete. That's Puba. I'm Ko. We'll catch you guys real soon.
We will return.
The worst episode ever.